Well, hi, everybody. This is Andy Campbell, the Deadhead Rev, and I'm here to introduce a new type of podcast that we're going to get started. And hopefully, every week, we'll be bringing you some new content and a new episode and talk a little bit about our shared experiences of the Grateful Dead and also talk about my faith and my life as a minister. Today is kind of a very special episode. I want to talk today about grief. And grief, I think, has hit the Deadhead community pretty hard over the past week. We all heard the news with shock about Bob Weir's passing, and of course, this isn't the first time we've lost somebody in the Grateful Dead. But this, with just drummers left and only one original member, this really feels like a passing of the torch. It feels like a rite of passage as we have to move on and deal with what it is that we're collectively feeling right now. And I want to tell you that as an ordained minister, I have dealt with grief. I have helped guide families through difficult times losing someone. And the one thing I've always said is that you're not supposed to be good at this. So if the feeling about losing Bobby and feeling some part of you is lost, and I know many people feel that way, you give yourself a break, cut yourself some slack. What you're feeling right now makes all the sense in the world. Because if you're confused, obviously we listen to the music play, but I will just tell you that the Spirit is there with you in this time of confusion and everything else. And even somebody, who has experience in having to work with people in their grief like I have, I got to tell you, I suck at it. I absolutely suck at grief because all of the things I realized I might try to say to comfort people and what have you in their time of loss, when it comes to, my own sense of loss, and most recently losing my brother Scott last April, it was tough, and I just didn't deal with it very well. I went to some very dark, deep places, and I had to learn how to heal. Now, I got to tell you, we know the deadline from Scarlet Begonias is every once in a while you get shown the light in the strangest of places. And I have to tell you that I had some help from a good new friend of mine in dealing with my brother's grief. I never had it on my bingo card that in my advanced age that I would appreciate tattoos and the ink and everything else that goes along with that kind of scene. And I discovered there is a huge Grateful Dead ink community, and we'll be speaking with some other tattoo artists in the next couple of weeks. But locally, I went to visit someone. I walked the neighborhood, and there is a shop called Black Sheep Tattoo. And I walk past there quite often, and wonderful folks. It's a welcoming kind of place. And as I was looking to get something done in the previous January, these folks welcomed me in. And Ashley, there to the left, did some work for me. And if you can see here on the, let me get to the other picture. She did the skeletons. She did Uncle Sam and Bertha over there to my left. And she also helped me do something a little more intense. When my brother passed away, like I said, it hit me pretty hard. And one of the things that happened is Scott had a few bucks left. And he was grateful enough, I was grateful that there was a little bit of money. And I said, I need to do something kind of unique and foolish to what's going on. And I think Scott would have appreciated the fact that I decided to have him put an ink on my back. We were the brothers that went to the Dead shows together. We did a lot of crazy things together. We rode buses together, quite literally and figuratively. We went to football games on the bus. We've done other things on the bus. He was the only brother I rode the school bus with. And so this representation of the bus, it was just a great thing to have happen. And I want to introduce you to a friend of mine. And I think we're friends now. We spent a lot of time together, haven't we, Ashley? And this is Ashley Brown, and she was the tattoo artist that did this great work. And I am grateful for Ashley. It was an interesting story for her as well. And people, look up Black Sheep Tattoo in Tulsa. Follow them if you can. Like them. She and Mark, the owner, and Haley, and is it Carla now? Is the other? Yeah, they've got 4 tattoo artists there, including the owner and my friend Ashley. And so when I went in, I will tell you that Ashley did not know much about the Grateful Dead. She'd heard of the band, of course, because she wasn't living under a rock, but she didn't know a whole lot. And I kind of explained what I wanted to her with the skeletons. She came up with, I just wanted something with the chalice, and she came up with those skeletons. My goodness, they were wonderful. But when Scott died, I told her about the idea of the bus, and this is her design. Having, not been much of a fan of the Dead, I'd given her some artwork, some stuff to look at. So, Ashley, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
How are you today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm so glad you agreed to do this. And I want to ask you, what have you learned in this experience about the culture of the Grateful Dead, and anything that really surprised you about it?
I mean, I've learned a lot, so much that I'm not sure I could pinpoint like one specific thing, because I don't know, there's a lot going on with the Grateful Dead, but I think just seeing how tight knit the community is, and how it's like everyone kind of knows everyone, or everyone knows someone who knows someone, and everyone feels like so safe in the community. Like, that was just really interesting to see.
I think you had, I know you haven't been to a show or anything like that, but I'm glad it's like you're catching on to the vibe. When we were looking originally at the one tattoo, I gave you a book I had that is just chock full of art that has been associated with the band over the years. And you are an artist. You're an excellent artist. There's no question about that. What did you think as you started perusing through? I know you had probably seen the Steely lightning bolt skull before, but as you started discovering things there, what took you by surprise?
I was probably mostly surprised by like how many different, characters and motifs and things that were associated. It's like, oh, there's, one animal, and there's, so many different meanings to this animal, or it's like referenced in multiple songs. So I guess just all of the references, and then maybe like how seriously everyone takes everything. It was just interesting, because like I could just see like a picture of a skeleton, or like a picture of like a wolf or something, and then there's like a whole, story behind just that specific character. So that was really interesting.
I think, you exceeded my expectations both times as far as that goes. And I'm grateful. And you had, was it a total of about 20 hours for the second piece that we spent together?
I would say I think we spent around 4 or 5 sessions on it, and they were around 4 hours each. I can't remember exactly if it was 4 or 5. But I mean, there's a lot of time that was put into it. People understand, like, when you get a really big tattoo, especially on like your back, a lot of time goes into that.
Oh, no question. I was there for it. I felt every little needle thing, though. I have to admit, for the experience, you are very kind and understanding, that says, hey, this isn't going to tickle. You are getting a tattoo. And I appreciated the fact that I felt when you were there that you were very serious about your craft and your art, and wanting to, make sure you were doing a good job. And I appreciate it. I want to ask you a question. You knew I was dealing with the loss of my brother before. How many people who come in to see you are looking to do something to memorialize somebody?
I would say a lot of people, and sometimes I might not even know until like halfway through the tattoo, or we're almost done for the tattoo. They're like, oh, I really wanted to get this tattoo because it means so much to me, because I recently lost someone and this was something that we shared. So it's honestly not always communicated, because, maybe it's so personal, but a lot of the tattoos that I do are, some kind of memorial to someone. So, I mean, I have some myself, a tattoo that I got because I was, really broken and just wanted something to console me during that moment. So I feel like getting a tattoo can definitely help, even if it's like just distracting you from the emotional pain you're feeling at the time. Like, I feel like tattoos are definitely helpful.
So can you say more about how you feel like getting tattoos can almost be healing?
Like I was saying, whenever going through some kind of emotional pain, getting a tattoo can be a distraction from that, because it's like, oh, let me just focus on, like, getting through this tattoo rather than thinking about how I'm going to, get through each day or something. So it can give you, a distraction from that, as well as like helping you hold on to a specific memory or something. So there's lots of different ways that a tattoo could help.
Well, I had never been, like an advocate of that as kind of a healing thing, but I'm going to tell you, there's no other memorial to my brother except the one you made. There's no grave marker for him. There's no plaque. There wasn't even a memorial service for him. So what you did for me was helping me gain exposure. And so that was vitally important. And that's my brother hanging out of the bus. I think that's me driving. My hair's a little longer now. And then, of course, all the characters, the terrapin, the crow, the wolf, the marching bear, and there's Jerry in the back. My son suggested I spend more money and put a Bob Weir tattoo somewhere on the back of that, but we'll have to talk about something like that at another time. Well, Ashley, I want to thank you for coming. I told you I didn't want to take too much of your time, but I wanted people to get to meet you and to know you. And I think I shared a book with you that there is this whole culture of Grateful Dead tattoo artists, and hopefully this one, fits in with all those people. There's a lot of them that they dedicate themselves solely to it. But I tell you what, in Tulsa, in this part of Oklahoma, if anybody ever wanted some ink that, represented the band and everything that goes on, and some of you are grieving right now, and I'm sure that Ashley would do her best to come up with something for you to represent the band, because I know she did the job so well for me. So Ashley, thank you so much. I appreciate you more than you know. And, I can't help but say I'll see you again soon, because I walk past the shop all the time still. So,
yes.
Hey, just a little side note for everybody. We have been experiencing, I'll tell you how close I am to the shop. We experienced the same utility outages this week because of a broken gas line. So we were commiserating that way, but and it kind of delayed today's broadcast a little bit. We'd hoped to do it before. Thank you again, Ashley, and my love to you and everybody at the shop. Go get something done by Ashley. She's an incredible, amazing artist, and even a better human being.
Oh, thank you.
Bye-bye. So I was thinking again about the collective grief we had. And I was thinking about the song Black Peter and everything that it has kind of represented for me. The last time I got to see Bobby play, he was singing that song. I've got a reel of it somewhere. And that whole idea of us going to run and see and going to, this day is just like any other day. And that's the truth of it. I think in our grief, we know it's coming, but we don't want to talk about it. And things like this, Bobby, for many of us, maybe it makes us contemplate our own mortality. And maybe that's where the difficulty lies. And I think we need to face more of it. I think we need to understand that, we do have a limited time. I don't want to be fatalistic for anybody. And, that was the whole Jerry thing. Losing Jerry was different, I suppose, because he was so young. But Jerry made sure that he made the most out of all the time he had. And I think Bobby in the end did too. And he did a good job of stretching it out for us. And the other thing I want to talk about in our shared grief is we're all kind of looking for what's next, And I think I can assure you that the vibe of the band, and particularly the song catalog and everything else, is going to continue. There are too many good bands that are representing that. And I think we all kind of realize that the torch has been passed to John Mayer to do what he needs to do. So, but we can wait on that. Let's take our time and let's sit together and work on our grief together. It doesn't come easy. It's hard. I'm reminded of the most difficult time in Jesus' life was in the Garden of Gethsemane, when he knew what was about to happen, when he understood the fate of what was about to take place. And all he asked for was some friends just to sit with him, just a friend or two at hand. Let's be friends and sit with one another until the time comes for us to stand up, and it's coming, and we will venture together into what is next in this shared community, this shared love, this shared ethos that we bring together. Remember that every once in a while you will get shown the light in the strangest of places if you look at it right. So thank you for watching. Hope you can subscribe to all that we do, either on Facebook or YouTube. Again, thanks to Ashley Brown and thanks to Black Sheep Tattoo. They're awesome people, and I highly recommend it. We'll have another episode for you next week, and I look forward to talking again to you soon.